Hey guys, it's Alvy. No, it's showing that I should have perfect signal. Welcome back. Man, I'll give you guys a few seconds to log on. I hate it when that happens. We are having major storms here. Looks like I'll have to get another phone because it looks like it's problems with the phone and not the actual internet because my other phone was working fine. So I'll give you guys a few seconds to log back on. Uh, as always, click us reaction, and it's okay to click reactions during the program as well, because that helps spread it, everything out. I got me some water here. Sorry, it's still storming here, so I'm so sorry about that. I know you guys were getting into the questions and everything. Welcome back, Charla. No, it wasn't Wi-Fi calling, bub. Wasn't that at all. All that's turned off. I've been having problems with the iPhone. It's cold here in Godland, Kansas. I don't have anything turned on. Like, it just started giving me trouble a few days ago. So, and y'all know I'm not perfect on iPhones. So, hey guys, thanks for joining me again. Hey, by the way, Shane is my younger brother, so shout out to my younger brother there. What I was going to talk about the affidavit of Michael Davies. Oh, you're welcome, Jennifer. But what I was talking about right before we broke up, I went to VineLink, and that's the Victim Information Network, where everybody has to be listed once you're placed in custody. I was going to register for Michael Davies. That way I can get updates as he moves around. When I pulled up his VineLink, it does have his arrest date. What's up, Tammy? At 12:54 today, which matches what Arkansas State Police had said. But his custody status is listed as unsupervised custody. Now, I spent the last hour trying to figure out what unsupervised custody meant besides at home. And nothing has turned up. A lot of times it's used for people on the weekends. Now, I will tell you that the Arkansas State Police said that he was took in custody and was placed, took to an undisclosed jail. So I'm not sure why they got it listed as unsupervised custody in here. That'd be definitely... Libby wants to know who we're talking about. Libby, we're talking about Michael Davis, the Lonoke County deputy who was arrested for manslaughter today in the killing of Hunter Britton. I can't tell you if he's in jail or home. I can only tell you what Vine says, and I can tell you what Arkansas State Police said. Everywhere I look for unsupervised custody means just that. Unsupervised, no monitors or anything. What's up, Catfish Jimmy? So that's not what I was going to get on to talk about. But in the process of me getting ready to go the affidavit with you guys, that come up on Vine, and someone had mentioned it earlier. Oh, thank you very much, Courtney. Hey, by the way, if you've never joined me for a nighttime cast, I'm kind of more laid back. That means they're going to run long because I'll sit and chit chat and I'll get off kilter. But I'll get started right here. So today was a big day for the family and friends of 17-year-old Hunter Britton. Just in case some of you might not been following the case, on June 23rd, 17-year-old Hunter Britton was killed by Lonoke County Deputy Michael Davis with one bullet. Of course, we have more details now. The week of the shooting, the Lonoke County Sheriff said that he had turned everything over instantly to the Arkansas State Police. And 4 days later, I believe, Michael Davis was fired from the Lonoke County Sheriff's Office for failing to turn on his body camera. He didn't turn on his body camera until after he had shot Hunter. Now, during this time, Arkansas State Police had the case for a number of weeks. Heather says, such a tragedy, just turned 18. Yeah, and definitely emotional story for me, for sure. The Arkansas State Police had the case for a number of weeks, and then they turned it over to the special prosecutor, and they've had it for a number of weeks, and we've been bugging them. In the meantime, what has went viral is two things: the hashtag Justice for Hunter and the hashtag Hunter's Law. And when I mean went viral, I don't mean here in Little Rock. I don't mean here in the United States. I don't mean just in one or two countries. I mean, it has been worldwide, where people are calling and wearing and making shirts and planting on their cars hashtag Justice for Hunter. It has raised concern about how we do policing in America, not from Americans, but from people across the country. There's thousands of people just like me, just like other people, could not understand how an unarmed 17-year-old could be shot, and we still did not have any information after all this time. So today in Polk County Courthouse, they announced manslaughter charges, and they use fancy words like felony manslaughter. And so people started looking that up and things like that. So I want to talk about that. But I want to go over the affidavit with you guys for arrest. Because when we was at the news conference today, I know the sound was kind of bad as well. So I'm going to go over it with you today. And if you're not really familiar with the case, the affidavit actually does a good job of explaining a lot of things. I'll try to be reading and looking in case y'all have questions. I won't read you the criminal code and all that stuff. I can post it on my Just Alvy news page. It reads the manslaughter. He said he did name person, which was Michael Davis gave his address. Believed the above named person has committed the offense of manslaughter on or about the 23rd day of 2021. And it says a person commits manslaughter if the person recklessly causes the death of another person, or C, a manslaughter is a Class C felony. Of course, he didn't put all the A's. I can I'll go over some of that with you later. States it's in Lonoke County, against the peace and dignity of the state, all legal terms. And here's our facts constituting reasonable cause. So here's what they were saying that allowed them enough to charge Davis with manslaughter. Corporal Greg P. Bray, a special agent with the Arkansas State Police, swear the following facts are true and correct to the best of my knowledge. On Wednesday, June 23rd, 2021, Arkansas State Police was requested to investigate an officer-involved shooting at 7180 State Highway 89 South in Cabot at approximately 3 a.m. Lonoke County Sheriff's Office Sergeant Michael Davis initiated a traffic stop near Mahoney's Body Shop located at 7180 State Highway 89 South. Davis stopped a white GMC pickup truck that was operated by Noah Hunter Britton. As Britton exited his truck, he moved to the rear of the vehicle as it was rolling backwards towards the front of Davis's patrol vehicle. Davis fired one round from his county-issued firearm, striking Britton in the lower right neck. Britton then fell to the ground. Davis notified his dispatch that shots had been fired and requested assistance. The passenger, Jordan King, which was also a teenager, was detained by Lonoke County Sheriff's Office deputy. After placing King in custody, Davis and the deputy cleared the truck. After they cleared the truck, they proceeded to render aid to Britton. Britton was transported to Baptist Health Medical Center in North Little Rock by Mims. Britton later succumbed to his injuries. After reviewing Davis's body camera footage, it was determined that his camera was not activated until after the shot was fired. And I'm going to pause right there because that's a lot, all in that little bit. A few things you might not know. Jordan King, teenager, he was in the vehicle. Him and Hunter was actually laughing because there was so much smoke coming from the vehicle. They was repairing the vehicle, Hunter's car, so they could go to work the next day. And they had went down the street to turn around. They're coming back. You know, there's disagreements between this statement, different witnesses when the actual blue lights went on. We don't know because he didn't call in the traffic stop. So we don't know when he put on the blue lights, only by witnesses, and there's different accounts of that because he did not call it in until afterwards. Now, Jordan says there was smoke everywhere. Him and Hunter was, you know, they was just kind of laughing about it. And Hunter gets out of the vehicle. Hunter gets out of the vehicle. You know, the truck's rolling back, and we'll hear more about that in a second. And that's when the chaos breaks. And there's yet another witness standing over to the side who sees this too. So, says, do we know if I have a cop have a spotlight on the vehicle? We don't know because they have not released what dash cam footage there was. They have not released what body cam footage there was. Okay. So I'm going to go to step 2. Now, by the way, up here, a lot of information up there. I know a lot of you wants to know about manslaughter and stuff. Once I read all of this, I'll go back and I'll cover some things with you guys that'll help you guys understand. All right, number 2. Just joining me, I'm reading the affidavit of Michael Davis. Number 2. During an interview with Davis, he indicated at approximately 3 a.m. he was traveling southbound on State Highway 89 South, initiated a traffic stop on the truck. It continued briefly in the southbound lane, crossed the center line, and stopped in the northbound lane. Davis says before he could put his patrol vehicle in park, he heard the truck's engine rev up and then began to travel southbound in the northbound lane. Davis did not notify dispatch on the radio that he was in pursuit because he realized the truck was attempting to turn left into Mahoney's body shop. He indicated before he could get to his patrol vehicle in park, Britton opened his door and quickly exited the truck. Davis observed that Britton slipped on the gravel, so Hunter fell. That Britton slipped on the gravel. He was moving, he slipped, don't really say it fell, excuse me, as he was moving quickly towards the rear of the truck. Davis, gave several commands to Britton, instructing him to get back to his vehicle, but Britton did not comply with his commands. Davis observed the truck rolling backwards. By the way, we've been saying that from the get-go. Rolling backwards towards his patrol vehicle. He continued to give commands and instructing Britton to show his hands and to stop. Davis said Britton began reaching with both hands into the bed of the truck. He indicated that as Britton began to bring his hands from the bed of the truck, he discharged his weapon one time towards Britton. Davis says as he observed the bullet strike Britton, a container from Britton's hands that originated from the bed of the truck. The container landed on the ground. During the interview, Davis was asked to clarify if he could see Britton's hands or what was in Britton's hands prior to discharging his county-issued firearm. Davis replied he could not see Britton's hands nor what was in his hands prior to discharging his county-issued firearm. So, That last statement is powerful. He could not see what was in the hands. He did not see a gun. He did not see a weapon, but he still murdered a 17-year-old unarmed boy. And he admitted it right there. But let's back up. So we know smoke's coming out of the vehicle. We know he's in a body shop. But yet he slips on the gravel. Hunter's reaching in, according to him, to get the jug. By the way, this is what, a 14-inch bright blue antifreeze jug. That according to witnesses, Hunter was getting to stop the truck from rolling on the officer, which the officer says the truck was rolling. And by the way, that bright blue, oh, by the way, it was a very well lit area, if that's what you guys are wondering. Very, extremely well lit area. Like Hunter's grandma was talking about today on one of the videos. Extremely well lit area. So that was another thing. Okay, so somehow that blue antifreeze bottle managed to perfectly land behind the wheel. Keep in mind, we're getting Davis's statement here. But the one statement, and I'm going to read it again, that stands out to me. Davis was asked to clarify if he could see Britton's hands or see what was in Britton's hands prior to discharging his county-issued firearm. Davis replied he could not see Britton's hands nor what was in his hands prior to discharging his county-issued firearm. He could see him good enough to see him slip on gravel. If you've seen Jordan, if you've seen Hunter, these weren't big kids. When I seen Jordan today out at the hearing, Jordan, forgive me. I know you're a teenager, man, and you're growing up, but it reminded me how much of a kids they really are. I mean, they truly look like 16 and 17-year-olds. And this is crazy. He didn't see anything in his hands, and he still shot. Heather says, we've all seen those antifreeze bottles, too. They're blue ones and they're yellow ones. They aren't small either. No, they're huge. But you know what? He's not even saying, Heather, he's not even bother saying that he's seen anything in his hands. He's actually saying he didn't. He can't say he did. He just shot because. All right. Number 3. Jordan King. During an interview with Jordan King, he stated he was with Britton and another friend, that's Landon, working all evening on a transmission for Britton's truck. As King and Britton went on a test drive in the truck, they made a right turn onto Highway 89 from Mahoney's body shop. King says they traveled approximately 1 mile to a church parking lot and turned around and returned to the shop. King noticed the deputy began to follow them, and the deputy pulled them over just before the Mahoney's body shop driveway. Britton slowed down, put his blinker on, and pulled to the left side of the roadway. King said as they were getting pulled over by the deputy, they were laughing and thought it was funny because the truck was smoking and that Britton was trying to get off the highway. King says, or Jordan says, I prefer to say their first names. Jordan says, as they stopped in the parking lot, both of them opened their doors to let the smoke out. King said that Britton immediately stepped out of the truck, went to the rear of the truck. King heard a gunshot. King said he never heard anyone say, "Show me your hands," or words similar to that before the gunshot. No evidence of firearms was located in Britton's truck. No firearms. First, let's start. Deputy initiates a traffic stop at 3 a.m. and does not call it in. What's the official traffic stop for? Was it the smoke? Was it the blinker? Both says victimless crime. Both of those are victimless statutes. 3 a.m. So for my police officers friends that say try to put myself in that position at 3 a.m., well, I couldn't. I couldn't be a cop. I often tell the story that roofers, which my father is and most of my family, it's one of the most dangerous jobs in the United States. It's like number 5. I could not be a roofer. Here's the reason. Once I was on the roof, I was good. In the middle of the roof, I was good. I could even climb boxes to get to the roof, and I was good. And I could climb a tree to get to the roof, and I was good. Good dude, all that. But climbing up the ladder and getting off the ladder, I was not good. Going to the edge of the building, I wasn't good. See, when I needed to be good the most, when I needed not to have fear, that's when I had it. That's how come I couldn't be a roofer. So if you're scared, so scared, at 3 a.m. in the morning, I mean, if you elect to pull somebody over, first of all, at 3 a.m., but if you're so scared that you shoot and you know, you just say you didn't see anything in his hands and you shot, you shouldn't be a police officer. That job's not made for everybody. Fear is not a reason to kill citizens. Fear is not a reason to kill kids. That's called get a new job. And I sincerely believe it. Shane says 3 a.m. is no different than 3 p.m. I use that number because that's the number that's referenced a lot. They'll say if you pull someone over at 3 a.m., you know, you put yourself in their shoes. My first response is, yes, the cop says he says the truck rolling backwards. My first response is, first of all, I would never pull someone over for a defective brake light at 3 a.m. by myself. Would not do that. Would not do that. That'd be step 1. So, let's cover a few things. First, I wouldn't do this last week because when the coroner's report come out, and the coroner's report had some nice information from, they're not, hey, there's no law requiring them to turn on their body cams. There's no law requiring them to use their taser or non-deadly force first, which is crazy. And what I don't think a lot of people realize that in America, we have more of our citizens locked up than any other civilized free country on the planet. And our police are more armed than just about every other police force on the planet. And our police officers have different rules of engagement than our soldiers fighting in a war. When my friends got sent over to Iraq when I was a teenager, even if they had AK-47s pointed at them, they had to de-escalate and had to get permission before they pulled the trigger. That is in an active war zone. That's why a lot of them end up dead. But here in the United States, our police get to pull the trigger, ask questions later, and get off scot-free with it because it's within policy. I have a problem with policy that allows agents of the government to kill people. I realize we're in a different time, less respect and more crime. Let's see. Oh, Heather goes, I realize that we are in a different time. I realize there's respect and more crime. Seriously, how can we compare money to lives? We must retrain the men and women behind the badges. There needs to be better psych training evaluations as well. It's got to happen. And that's not backing or not backing the issues. It's for their safety as well. It seems to be the only position that I'm not allowed to offer feedback in. Like people argue with you. People don't realize how less training a police officer actually has. And it's like 26 weeks to be an Arkansas State Trooper. 26 weeks. Pulaski County, I believe, is, I'll tell you. How many weeks do you think it is to be a Pulaski County Sheriff's Deputy? I'm fixing to ask. I know it's not very long. How many weeks? And we could use a lot of that training is used in defense and things that we could use for de-escalation techniques, psych training. Shane says 7 weeks. I'm on how many weeks for Pulaski? I think it's a little bit longer than that. So we're gonna see. 12 weeks, Pulaski County. 12 weeks to be a police officer. 12 weeks of training. So you're 21 and you get 12 weeks of training. That's how come when some of you get on here and y'all want to argue with me about like the cop knows better. No, he's had 12 weeks of training. And most of that training wasn't covering the law. It was covering basics. When I say they don't really know the law, that's not really their job. And some of y'all get offended by that. We need to end the culture where we want to improve a government agency, which is the police, without being attacked. Dude said he didn't see a weapon in the kid's hand and still shot him. Now you know why people said it needed to be a murder charge. So why isn't it a murder charge? First of all, let's talk about homicide. When the coroner's report come out, it listed homicide, and you guys like, there you go, it proves it right there. No, homicide is a legal term, and it means any kind of death. Yes, it could be murder. I could have overdosed. Everything's kind of like a accidental until it's proven something else. So you got homicide is the big one, and under homicide, you got all the different types. And of course, Davis got charged with manslaughter. Of course, the special prosecutor and everybody keeps saying felony manslaughter, felony manslaughter. Well, it is true that manslaughter is a felony, but if you quotation mark felony manslaughter, and for Arkansas code, you will not find that. By using the word felony in front of manslaughter, I think it like adds to it, lets you know they're seeking jail time for it. So it's being more used like an adjective than an actual crime. He is just charged with manslaughter. The question I had, is it voluntary or involuntary manslaughter? When asked today, he really didn't answer that. He actually said, good question. And he said, I believe, felony manslaughter or manslaughter. But I need to know, is it involuntary or voluntary manslaughter? Because that's what Arkansas Criminal Code is. And that's what I'm more focused on. Now, the special prosecutor today, which comes to no surprise, said he was not going to talk to reporters. And, you know, he gave us this big, long statement of why. Here's the deal. Here's the difference between Michael Davis and if you and I did this. I don't know if y'all noticed, I have this news page, and I cover a lot of murder investigations and the police wanting people. So, first of all, it wouldn't take 3 or 4 months for them to even release any information. So let's just get that out of the way. This would have happened way back in June. At which time, they would have put the suspect's face all across the news and pretty much told you every bad thing he ever did. Of course, when he got arrested, they would tell you the suspect has been arrested for the murder or homicide. They wouldn't say manslaughter. They wouldn't say picked up on an affidavit warrant for his arrest. I had to search for his mugshot. Your mugshot would be up there within hours. How people with qualified immunity, and I say that not because qualified immunity applies in here, but how people with qualified immunity are treated is unreal. And that's just a blanket way for me to talk about, you know, politicians, police, different like that. They're treated very, very bad, differently than us. Sorry, I'm reading. Very, very sad and heartbreaking. Yeah, it is, Dolores. So Shane says, someone pulls a gun on me and I shoot them, I still get arrested then. Right. You would definitely be sitting in jail for sure. So I have a problem with the double standard. That's how come I searched out his mugshot. That's how come I made a picture of his face. If I could plaster how many speeding tickets he had, I would. Because that's how they do everybody else. This guy is the type of guy who causes discontent and problems within law enforcement. And he gets good cops killed. And it creates that nature as they're training during that 12 weeks is they end up scaring some of them, you know, making those moves. Their gun is deadly for some, so as a taser. I don't understand why they don't use the taser first and why they always shoot with deadly force, shoot them in the leg. They won't get far and they won't die unless you hit an artery maybe. Even apply tourniquet. Understand at times they mean to shoot. What if Hunter was alone and no witnesses? What happened then? Without a doubt, would have took the officer's story and just went with it. There wouldn't have not even been an investigation. My brother points out the good point. In firearms training, you shoot to the center. I don't understand. I mean, I don't know how you shoot my neck. How did, remember, one shot, 2 holes. My arm, Hunter's arm, and Hunter's neck. How do you do it? How do you do it unless some guy's arm's not up? How do you shoot Hunter in the arm and the neck that way? Was he sitting this way maybe? You know, but we won't know. Why? He didn't call in the traffic stop. He didn't turn on his body cam. And you guys are right. If it was us, it would. Here's the thing. In order to get higher charges, you have to add different elements to it. Now, he was working. He turned on the blue lights. He flipped around. That would be hard to prove any type of intent because he was working. So in order, he could have got a second degree murder charge. Could have here. I'll read y'all the differences real quick. I think I'll read y'all the difference. Where'd I go? Okay. So here's Arkansas Criminal Code. By the way, the word felony warrant is not listed. Involuntary manslaughter. A killing that is not on purpose but results from criminally reckless or negligent behavior from a low-level criminal activities. Which is probably the one they're going to end up charging him with. Voluntary manslaughter. Generally a killing which was voluntary but done in the heat of the moment. Second-degree murder. Most often voluntary, but without premeditation, often seen as the middle ground between voluntary manslaughter and first-degree murder charges. And then first-degree murder charges would have been the highest level of criminal homicide, typically reserved for willful and premeditated killings. Now, about that, even because a lot of times this is what happens in these cases, and I do mean a lot of times. Officer might get charged. Officer might get found guilty, and then officer gets his conviction overturned on appeals, all kinds of stuff. Because holding that job comes with special privileges, very, very special privileges. They are not treated like you and I in a court of law. They're not treated like you and I in the jail system. They're not treated like you and I in no way, shape, or form. And that's not right. But that's the way it is. So, they're afforded all of this stuff. We assume that they're going to uphold their oath to the Constitution and not violate our rights. So that means they wouldn't kill us or take our life or liberty. Of course, we see that happen quite often. I mean, they can always raise the charges. I don't know how they would pull off a secondary degree murder trial, second-degree murder charge. I'll look more into Arkansas Criminal Code and see what I know about the case and see if it does it. I know that's kind of what you want, but it's like it goes like this. If you can get a manslaughter charge to actually stick that can't get overturned, that's better than a second-degree murder charge that's not going to stick. And the kicker is, now I want y'all, even after Davis's trial, no matter what happens, I want y'all to keep following, and promise you guys will, because Hunter Britton's family is going to file a lawsuit, of course, against Lonoke County and Michael Davis for violating his rights. And this is where I think all of us need an education process. So even if Davis is found guilty of manslaughter, he could still be victorious in the civil case because the qualified immunity provides him with a lot of detail, and they've set the standard so high to overcome the qualified immunity. And that's why you got the bad police officers that'll violate the rights, because it's hard to prove. There's simple things that, I call myself a constitutionalist. I'm definitely a First Amendment auditor. Police are trained to say certain things, so am I. Police always say, I don't know you. I'm just talking. Can I get your ID this day and age? I don't know them. I just got here. Those kind of police statements. But the Supreme Court has also told me things I should say, which is restate my rights to the police officer. So, and how to do that is when you're interacting with the police officer, you got to know your rights. Don't be rude about it. You can be nice. Shane says he agrees, but what the prosecutor decides he can make stick and not be overturned. Yes. The truth is, if you guys looked into the criminal justice system, just about everything is a plea bargain anyway. They will flat out overcharge somebody. Yeah, I do want to point that out. Like, he's charged with one thing. He's charged with one crime. Now, you can go into Saline County or Pulaski County any day of the week. If that would have been you and I, we would have had charges stacked. In other words, we'd have the manslaughter charge, and then we'd have whatever other charge they could add in there. And that's a common technique used by prosecutors to offer a better plea deal. In other words, they charge defendants with all this stuff, knowing it won't stick, and they plea down, of course, like normal. When it comes to police officers in case like this, they get charged with the one thing. When there was obviously more things you could charge them with, even against Jordan King. And I hope Jordan King's family has a civil rights lawyer too, because for them to keep him in that vehicle, I want y'all to imagine. You're laughing, you're a teenager. You and your best friend been working on your work truck, enjoying life, smoking, blowing out from the transmission, but y'all think y'all finally got it figured out. You pull in, you see your buddy get out of the truck just a laughing. Not a care in the world. Perfect small town USA living at 17 years old. Next thing you know, you hear a gunshot, and one of your best friends is on the ground. What do the police officers do? They come and put you in handcuffs. They come and put you in back of their police cruiser. They leave a kid in back of a police cruiser for like 2 hours or more. Why? Because the police cruiser was in the custody of the Arkansas State Police. So the deputies didn't let him out. Imagine Jordan sitting there. Good, clear view of everything that was going on with Hunter. Imagine Landon coming up from the back of the shop, being scared. His friend laying on the ground. I have no sympathy for the 30-year-old sergeant or former sergeant. Any sympathy that I might have had when he says in his own words that he seen nothing in Hunter's hands. He could not see that there was a weapon. He could not see anything. But he pulled the trigger anyway. And somehow, with one bullet, managed to make it through Hunter's arm and his neck. And by the way, the body camera wasn't on until after I killed the kid. All while Jordan is watching, handcuffed in a police cruiser. I do not understand, I didn't understand then, why people automatically come to the defense of the police officer. There's no reason to. They're not entitled to that. They're already afforded that. It is our job as Americans to take the side of the citizen until the government proves otherwise. Somehow we forgot that. Somehow we have made it okay for police officers to beat people up for smarting their mouth off. We made it okay for police officers to kill kids with Snicker bars and autistic kids because they wasn't trained properly. We make it okay for them to make a teenager sit for 2 hours while a crime scene's processed. But damn me if I question them. No, damn you. Damn you for not having the balls to stand up for a country. Like it or not, when police officers put on a uniform, They are agents of our government, and they're acting accordingly. Now, there are a lot of good police officers. Last week was a great example. But we should call out and make an example of the bad ones. But most people, and that's slowly changing, automatically sides with the officer. If Michael Davis would have been treated exactly like you and I would have been, y'all would have already convicted him. Because they would have plastered his mugshot up. They would have arrested him. They would have released the body camera footage. They would have told you how the other guy was unarmed. In fact, the news story would have said, killed an unarmed man. They're afforded those special privileges already because they're part of our government. It is our responsibility and duty to keep them in check. And if you're not okay with that, you're not really a good American. Because the Constitution was set up to limit our government, not to limit me. And y'all need to wake up. Y'all need to wake up. Heather says, and they should have integrity to do what is right when no one is watching. If I'm late to work, I let my boss know, even if it doesn't notice. These are minutes, not lives. Integrity, simple integrity. Admit when you're wrong, even the bug wrongs and the hard wrongs. Absolutely. And stop taking up for bad cops. I yell at my cop friends all the time. I do. I go, how can you say that? No, I don't have to assume the cop was telling the truth. I don't. Like, the cop was throwing shade on this story for a while. And everybody's telling me I was crazy. Why? Because I trusted the kids. I still do. That'd be a heck of a story for Jordan to make up. So I'm going to ask you what you guys are going to do. Because I'm going to tell you over the weekend, as this kicks off, Mystic, Hunter's sister, she'd already made a comment on her own Facebook page and goes, just to let you guys know, if you change your profile page to We Support Davis, I'm going to unfriend you. So over the next 3 days, as this information gets released, there'll be more support for Davis popping up. If you see that, I don't even want you to question their support for Davis. I want you to ask them something simple. Do they support Hunter's Law? Do they support a law requiring body cameras to be on when police officers interact with citizens? When you interact with a police officer, remind them nicely, is your body camera on? Maybe they forgot. We got to call the governor's office. We got to call our legislators, and we got to get Hunter's Law passed. I mean, that's step one. Something so simple. Law require body cameras on. And when you hear me say police reform, see, I got a theory. I follow police brutality cases. I follow civil rights violations to some extent. And a lot of times, the police get away with it, and it just makes people sick. But there's a key word that's always said. They were following policy. It was within policy. See, we're attacking the officer. In this case, by the way, Michael Davis, I think, is a piece of shit, if you want to know the truth. Killing a 17-year-old unarmed kid and you didn't even see anything in his head. So I ain't even talking about you when I'm talking about this. So, following policy. So what I try to tell people, if so many of the officers, so many different officers are doing this and getting away with it. And the way they get away with it is because it's part of policy. It's not the officer we need to change. It's the policy we need to change. Because if the policy makes it okay for them to do these things, that's what we need to change. Heather says that they need to just be on and stay on, no option, turn it on and off. Oh, I like that too. Here was something about that I thought. Dash cams on. I'm talking about 360 from the moment they log on. Body cams on any communication. But I would add another camera. They got these cameras that go on the tip of your service revolvers. When you pull the gun out of your service revolver, when you pull your service revolver out, it starts recording instantly. When you pull the trigger, it starts taking pictures. That would solve a lot of things. But here's my deal. Because here's one of the arguments that we get. Well, then the police will be up on an accident scene, and, you see your grandmother and they got to give a tracheotomy. True story. Someone told me this. Is that what you want to see? Well, no, that's not what I want to see. But, I'm sure it can be censored. And my comment, like I told him, I said, it's not like y'all released the camera footage anyway. And I think that's what we need to get changed. It really bugged me because right after Hunter's got killed, a police officer got run over and another one had gotten shot, I believe. Within 4 weeks, I seen all the body camera footage, multiple angles. I seen the suspect. We had a parade for the officer, and we had someone in custody within 4 weeks. Today is September 17th. Hunter was murdered on June 23rd. You see the difference? See, someone's got, I have one son that's a police officer and one son that's been in the penitentiary. I see both sides, good and bad. Absolutely, Brandy. Absolutely. Here's my favorite thing to tell everybody, because I get told, hey, Alva, you hate cops. I was like, I wish y'all tell my cop friends that, because they sure don't think I hate them. Someone needs to let them know that I hate them, that they didn't get the memo. What's up? Bet that makes for interesting Sunday dinners. Oh, yeah, the two sons. I bet that would. So, guys, 86 days, I know. Think about it from my perspective for a second. I just watched a manhunt go down and a very violent criminal who traveled across multi-states is sitting in Pulaski County Jail. No shots to him. 17-year-old Hunter Britton is dead. That's why we got to do justice for Hunter and Hunter's law. All right, guys, it's Alvy. Thanks for hanging out so late. Man, much longer than what I thought. I'll follow up and see what that Vine link thing is. That would blow my mind. Not really, I believe it, but a lot of slap in the face that would be. So, all right, if you have any questions, just drop them down. I'll try to get to them later. And as always, make sure you invite your friends to like the page. Click like, click love, and all that good stuff. Hey, Shirley. Oh, Shirley said she saw me on the news. Where'd you... hey, funny story. Where'd y'all see me on the news? Funny story about seeing me on the news. So, Regina drove me to... yeah, Brooke, Hunter was very much a baby. Regina drove me to Russellville today. And we got in the truck, and she goes, oh my God, those other cameramen just followed you around and recorded what you were seeing. what you were asking everybody. And that's what they're literally doing. Like a lot of their interview questions, I was to the side and I was laughing. Channel 4 and Channel 11 phone matched your shirt. Hey, did y'all happen to see what my shirt said? My shirt actually says karma. That was on purpose today. So Regina learned, like on the way back, I said, yeah, that's how come I get aggravated sometimes when people go, oh yeah, there's a nice little story on it on Channel 4 or 16 or something. Because they've been over my shoulder filming it, and I just thought that was funny. Like, that was cool. Hey, some sleep, sweet dreams. I'm out of here for real. All right, guys, for real. Hey, one more time. Thank you, guys. Y'all fed me today and fed Regina today, and y'all bought gas for us down there. So thank y'all for the Cash App money. That was awesome. I ate good. I ate a double burger. So now I'm going to bed. And Taz's was good tonight, too. Peace out, guys. Always make good choices.